ChainLink. Welcome back for ChainLink, and ChainLink just keeps on doing everything that we've wanted it to do, so that's really great. Let's hope that that continues. Let's look at today and see how things have been going on, and since what happened in our video yesterday, and if we can figure out anything else where there might be decent entries, exits, and risk management target zones for today's video. Let's just keep things nice and neat. Went on far too long in the Bitcoin and Ethereum videos, but there's a lot of detail in there if you want to know about how trading works in general for those coins, and those coins are of course the daddies in the market, so it's worthwhile watching both of them if you want to watch them and see where we could be going in terms of the overall industry. But let's just zoom on into to Link. Thanks for joining me. So we're back in the charts here. We've got the 24-hour Coinbase chart up. I didn't really hear anything from anybody about if you want me to use the Binance chart or what yet, so I will migrate over there little by little. But instead of like drawing all the Fibonacci's and everything else on there for now, I've just decided to leave them here, and we'll sort of do it. We'll do it over time as we go through this, So what are we looking at the minute? Well, we managed to come in here and go down towards the lower end of these Bollinger Bands. In fact, I kind of really want to get rid of the Bollinger Bands off the screen. And so like then we've come back up towards the middle line, gone back above it. Now we're coming back down to retest it potentially, and we're also retesting this line at about $4.10, which is where we wanted to see the prices get to in order to have some positivity and potentially make it as high as the $4.30 level, which they did, and the then came back down since. Now those are two yellow lines, and what are those yellow lines? This is the 236 here of a Fibonacci retracement drawn in from the lows to the highs in the most recent swing lows and highs, and this is the sort of all-time effort here with the all-time high and low drawn on. Then it goes the other direction, so that yellow line is 786. Now getting up to the 786 on any Fibonacci retracement thing is a feat in itself, and it deserves to be acknowledged in and of itself. So the price is coming up here and then effectively being resisted by them at that point makes an awful lot of sense. And of course, I was saying in videos yesterday that you might as well think of these lines as being profit-taking lines as opposed to support and resistance lines. If you change the taxonomy in your head, it'll probably improve your trading ability quite an awful lot. And of course, as we saw here, and we came back up and the prices established itself above this profit-taking line, we actually saw the prices move up to the next profit-taking line, at which point people then got invested in shorts potentially, or divested out of their longs, and the price came back down, of course, towards this other profit-taking line in around here. Now, it's always best to operate on a close enough is close enough basis, the 80-20 rule. If you make it 80% towards a move, then sure, just take your profit. So the wise people there, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, none of this financial advice, just ignore me if you think it is. It would have been to go like down to 413 would have been a sort of more sensible place to be taking profit than 411 if you were to be trying to just, if you were already operating off the back of that. Indeed, if you were managing your risk off of some long that you took in and around breaking above this area, then of course you're looking towards this area, but breaking down below it potentially on something like a 4-hour time frame. So in terms of 4 hours and stuff, what have we managed to do? Well, we've come right up here, and it kind of, the whole story I was making there, saying there becomes a lot clearer overall for you. That's exactly what I was just saying, but in the 4-hour time frame, you can see it a lot clearer. And in terms of the oscillators down below, this has been an uptrend here on this 4-hour period. You could say this was a high, you could say this was a low, this was a high, this was a low here, and this is a high, and potentially sitting in a low here. So let's look to see if there's divergences, looking at the tops in an uptrend in order to see if they're divergent. And between this point here and this point here, despite the fact this sloped off an awful lot and lost a lot of its luster in terms of its vigor, in terms of going up the way, it actually is not divergent at all. So then looking at the lows in the uptrend to see if any of them have got any sort of hidden bullish divergence. We don't really, but who knows, there could potentially be hidden bullish divergence sitting here on these oscillators should the prices manage to maintain themselves above the previous low, of course. So there's a lot of room here to the downside in order to do that, so because the price could go down to 399 and still be sitting in a higher low. So you've got to bear that in mind. Potentially just watch how that pans out over the next 24 hours or so. In terms of targets for now, we are indeed looking at between these two lines. You've got the 411 and the 430. If we break above 430, manage to open and close on the 4-hour time frame, as you can see, as we have not done here for quite some time. In fact, we did over here open and close, but that just came back down. But we did here, we open and closed, and where did we go towards that blue line up there? That's what I was about to say. If we open and close above this area, then I'd be looking towards 480 as the next target. So we've currently got in mind sort of around about 411 as potential entry area, 412, 13, whatever you choose. Not financial advisor again, so you're going to have to make your own choice there. And then you've got your first profit taking zone here, the don't be greedy 430 area, and then after that you've got your greedy profit taking area around about 480. And if you did manage to make it above 480, then you're looking towards $5 and the 100% retrace, and then we're looking at potential for more different, you know, for other sort of price targets in mind. So just to get some of those other price targets in mind, I thought I'd come over and look and see here, or not to get some of the other price targets in mind, sorry, just to point out to you that while on the Coinbase chart we had a high and a low there, on the biggest high and low, and the next Fibonacci line comes in at that $5 level. Over here on Binance, you can see we never actually got as high as that. So the Fibonacci retracement is drawn out differently, and actually throughout this period we've been setting in new highs on Binance for ChainLink versus Tether US dollar. Okay, that's what's been going on there. So these are sort of all-time highs that we put in previously in around that $4.90 area, $4.80. So just a word to the wise, I would be very much happy to take profits in around that $4.50 area. I know that's significantly lower, but then you could potentially sometimes see things happening like a double top happening around that area. Why wouldn't you take profit there if you had the opportunity to do so? But you could also then take profit up here again and then wait to see how things react in and around this area. As you can see though, when we zoom in here, that if you were to consider this to be the low, we made a lower low. If you consider this to be the low, we haven't actually done that yet. We've turned around, we've come back up here, and really we need to see if we can get the price action operating up above that 450 level. If we're up there and operating around about that, obviously you'd have good opportunities to re-enter into longs and whatnot. If there was any pullback from 450, then I'd be looking towards 425 as a sort of take profit on shorts or a re-entry on longs, and of course to be managing risk there, or else indeed taking more profit at the $4 area or so. Again, if we went back down as far as that, that's $4.09 where that line is currently right there. So do we have anything as well here? I mean, if this is an overall uptrend, and here on the 24-hour, if this was, and you were to say this wasn't really the low here and that was just part of this overall upward movement and that the low was actually here, if you were to say that, then you'd be looking between this point here and this point here at the lows in the uptrend, and you would say, wow, that's loads of hidden bullish divergence there. But of course, if that were the case, then you'd also be looking at whether or not this would become can actually push up above this area, and if it can't, then you'd have severe bearish divergence on the tops, looking at the tops in the thing. And in fact, you've had the bearish divergence here for the last few tops here, which has run down. It's resulted in this downward price action. That's kind of partly what we would have seen in terms of indicating that was a possibility. In fact, as soon as we drop below the 236 on this Fibonacci retracement, we could have anticipated the prices coming down towards this 50% level, certainly at least the 382. So that's what we've got on the go at the minute. We're now back above that. We're kind of invalidating this Fibonacci retracement. We really need to establish ourselves here, and if I were to just sort of compromise and say we could go sideways for a day or two, I would rather see us go sideways above $4.10 than anywhere below it. Otherwise, then we're sort of consolidating underneath here and then looking to return on and continue this Fibonacci retracement targets, and we'd have expectations there. So that's what we're looking at. That wraps everything up there. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to go on and do a Tezos video, and I'm also going to do, I think, ENJ here for the bonus video today. So stay tuned for all of that, and if you like Ethereum and Bitcoin, then I published them earlier on. So thanks very much, and cheerio. See you in the next one.